This is the League of the Genuine Conversations. Every Friday we have a conversation about counterfeits, an important but often ignored subject, and we are here to deepen your understanding of the issue of counterfeits so that you can protect yourself and your loved ones against the concealed dangers of counterfeits. Remember, everybody who is a consumer is eligible to say something about counterfeits, so we don't have a particular criteria in choosing who our guests are. Provided you have an experience, you have something to say, you can be on the show. So this week we have another special guest, a lady very passionate about teenagers by the names Hope Nunda. Hope, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
You were telling me of the show here that your name means that you love yourself only. Is that a correct interpretation?
No, it is singular for love for one, and it is Nankunda, Jesus loves me. When it is Natkunda, he loves many. So in my case...
So you are not like Jesus. For you are mean. You only love yourself. I
just know he loves me.
You work with teenagers.
Yeah,
maybe you need to change your name.
I keep reminding them that he loves me and he loves everyone.
You need to change your name since you work with many teenagers.
To Natkunda.
To Natkunda. to show the love for many. But you're welcome.
Thank you.
Who is Hope Nankunda?
Yeah.
Our viewers want to know you.
Hope Nankunda Mwijuka. Mwijuka is my husband. I am married to one man. I am a mother of 3 daughters. I also head an organization called Raising Teenagers Uganda. And by profession, I am a teacher and a counselor, but I do most of my work in docent counseling. And that is how people keep relating to me with teenagers, because indeed we are raising teenagers.
You told me that you are a teacher of literature and English.
Yes.
And this is a program dealing with counterfeits or fakes of any form.
Yes.
One of the biggest counterfeits we have on the market these days is the different versions of murdered, counterfeited, fake English, especially that the teenagers are coming up with. You wonder what they are speaking. The other day, I was rebuking one of the staff here and saying, why didn't you do this?
Yes.
And to say that they were sorry what they had done, to say they had forgotten, they told me, my bad. My bad. So what does you English teacher, can you tell us, what are they saying? My bad. I am sorry. What is my bad? If you check my bad, is it an English word? I only see my body. A body. What is happening to the English language? Are we having counterfeit versions of it?
Sometimes you think counterfeit is for products.
Yes, but it's
and
also
here
in
we
language.
are with language.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, and it is common that young people today, for you to understand what they are saying, you must be very, very alert. And I don't know who to blame, but sometimes it's because they have access to different versions of English on TVs, on their smartphones and everything. So whatever they pick from anywhere, they think it is the right thing. I was recently sharing with my daughters about damaged clothes. And I was saying, do you know that those damaged clothes in America, they are worn by people who don't have clothes? But here when a Mzungu comes and...
You mean these jeans which are torn?
Yeah, I know many people love them and I don't have much love for them. So I always try to say...
No, it's because you are not...
I know I'm not in that...
Up to date. You're still backward.
I'm still backward. But I'm trying to say that sometimes everything people see with people we associate to be the most important, in this case, Bazungu, we think it is the right thing to do. So even when they come with something very, very wrong, you pick it because it is a Mzungu who has said. So the English, I can't say that my band is from the Wazungu because they speak correct English.
Oh, it is a slang.
It is a slang, I must say. There are many times when I told my different teenagers that these slangs you use could make you lose marks at UNEB because you're going to forget and take the same language in the examination paper and you want to go back to correct it. And before you know, you'll be like, how did I fail to get a distinction 1? Why? Because you have chosen to take a wrong way of language when you know the right
but
way.
But languages evolve. If now I'm the advocate for the teenagers, assuming I'm their lawyers, I would say languages over the years evolve. Even the English language. The English language was born out of Germanic languages. It came from Germany. It was a mixture.
Okay.
So maybe they can argue that because a language is a living thing, it's not like a product which is fixed, that it has these specifications, that it's evolving and it is growing. Therefore, it's okay to add a little slang, a little spice in there. Does the language we use, if it is adulterated, if it is altered, if it is contaminated, if it is changed, is language important in helping us to fight counterfeit? Should we have the right language, or we can use any language?
I think it's important to use the right language for us to address the issues we are dealing with, especially with counterfeit, because if the language is not well put, for example, a product, someone could buy some product thinking it is what they wanted when actually it is something completely different. Just because someone is using slang to actually, they're using the kind of life they lead to portray. You know, there's a time when there were Obama chapatis. I don't know if you remember that era.
Yes.
In Nunda, that time when Obama had just become president, and people were giving names of children, chapatis, every other business. Sometimes I think it's about the timing, and people choose to say now this time this is what is on. And therefore, if I put this, it is going to get market. The
intention is to promote, to make something catchy.
Yeah. What word can I use now? Have you seen the elephant recently? I'm not a football fan. If you are not, then you don't know.
I know.
But I've been seeing elephants.
But I don't like elephants, which are on top somewhere.
On top
I know you're talking about Arsenal. The elephant is there, but it's about to fall. That elephant will fall.
That, and people are running wild
with the elephant.
The elephant.
Symbolism.
But, yeah. So sometimes even how we put our message across could attract many different people, and they end up doing things wrongly, not because it's the right way, but because of how they're doing.
So because language, you as a teacher, you know, that if you took away the language, the medium of communication, you wouldn't be able to teach.
No.
So if we are going to teach about the dangers of counterfeits, what you are saying, we must have some standardization in language.
Exactly. It must be well put, and communication must be very clear, so that anyone who sees any product anywhere, just on the go, just by seeing them, they will see, oh, this is what they mean, this is what I'm looking for. And many times, because people could be enticed by the eyes and what they see, they rarely read the instructions or even the explanations put on products. And maybe it's important that we encourage the public to always take time and read what they're going to buy. For example, you know, if it's, for example, lotion, and you're going to use it on your skin, have you known how much quantity?
What are the ingredients?
Yeah, what are the ingredients? What is it likely to do to your skin? Sometimes we do it because another person has bought it, and because the other person is using this lotion and they're looking all well, you think it would work for you. I think it's important that every person is able to appreciate the need to read what has been put on a product and understand it before they can actually take it for consumption.
But don't you think the challenge, and I know there are so many calls for us to have this version of the program in local languages, which we shall do.
Yeah,
we're trying to get the funding
for
it. But don't you think sometimes it can be limiting? For example, if I'm dealing with cosmetics, and there are cosmetics that have heavy metals, like zinc or mercury.
Yeah.
How do you call zinc or mercury in your local language?
I don't know.
You
I don't
see,
think there is.
You see, so if I want to get this message out to the rural folk, the ladies, and I'm telling them, if you're going to buy a cosmetic, watch out for a cosmetic that has, make sure it doesn't have zinc or mercury. Then maybe now zinc will become part of Runyakitara now. You also have zinc. In Swahili, we also call it zinc. Or if it is a food, and we say make sure there isn't sodium or this. I think to that extent, we can assimilate or we can adopt some of the international lingua, if you like. But again, there are certain products that we have named through slangs, okay? And they have been adopted. For example, what you've called the chapati, we call it Rolex, okay? And it even has got international acclaim. Uganda is a land of Rolex. It is a delicacy. It even has a Rolex festival, the Kampala Rolex Festival. So Rolex is well known.
Yeah.
Though it is slang, though I'm sure it was the youth, not somebody
That
like you
brought
and me,
it up,
who brought Rolex. So sometimes maybe we are dissecting too much. Maybe there is nothing in a name, there is nothing in a word, provided it will give a semblance of the message. And now we cannot be stopped from attending to the challenges that go with Rolex and the counterfeit tomatoes inside, and the wheat and the baking powder inside, the cooking oil. There is nothing that will stop you because it has a name that is a slang. What do you say to that?
It's quite a challenge. When you talk about tomatoes, it reminds me that actually most of the time those tomatoes put in the Rolex are raw. You just chop, put in, and you go to eat. But this is all pesticides. At our home, we only do organic, including tomatoes, the small ones from the banana plantations. You know them, the tiny ones?
The ones that will grow between
So
the
we
banana
make sure that
stems.
they are in the village. When we go, we harvest and come with them, because my husband insists we cannot have these tomatoes because of the pesticides.
You stay in Kampala.
Yes.
The Kampala has more than 20 markets.
Yes.
You don't go shopping for tomatoes and vegetables in Kampala. You are a person who is so bad, you don't want to support the local women and the women groups and the household incomes in Kampala. Where do you buy your tomatoes from, and why don't you buy it from Kampala?
Just because of the pesticides and the problems that come with it, because we know that they have a health issue to every person, by the way. So we made it a point that at our village we shall grow spinach, dodo, tomatoes, so that we are able to harvest and bring whenever we go there and bring and eat. Why? Because we know the effects. Information is power. That's what you know. So sometimes when you know the truth and you ignore, then you have a price to pay. And it's only a matter of time. So not because people who use tomatoes, of course, here it is advised that we first peel off the skin. But remember now,
but
for
it's
Rolex,
nutritious as well.
Yeah, but it is filled with that
chemicals,
and they have an effect on our system. That one we cannot ignore. So if we only focus on eating because it tastes good, and we forget that those chemicals affect us in terms of our health, then we are on a wrong journey. So for the Rolex, the famous Rolex that you're saying, while we are having a festival of 20,000 people coming to enjoy Rolex, we cannot ignore the fact that those tomatoes are raw, the skin is on. Okay, for people who take Rolex, I don't want you to take it or to feel offended.
But you're cautioning them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you really need to know.
Can you take care
to
find out this nice Rolex that you're eating? What are the ingredients?
Exactly.
The tomato. Is it full of pesticide? Of course, it's a challenge to find out how. Yes. But then the source you must find. Where has it come from? The wheat, the cooking oil.
Now for cooking oil.
What do you say about cooking oil?
A lot of reservations. We don't use cooking oil apart from olive oil, which we think is a little, not completely good, but you know. And not because we want to be like, oh, the extremely very careful people, but because it's good to take care of our health and our lives. So cooking oil, there are people who use cooking oil like 10 times. You know, you cook something today, you keep today, tomorrow you warm it, put something else, you're going to eat again. All those things have an effect on our bodies.
And of course, you are saying
yeah,
they are good cooking oil brands.
Yeah, they are there.
But there are also some people who are faking.
Yes.
And putting in the containers and saying this is oil number 8, whereas it's not.
When it is not.
As we end this segment, on the issue of the name, which was saying, because you're an English teacher, I think our overall conclusion can be, and I invite you to agree with it, that it may not matter what something is called, whether it's a slang or not. I think what matters is whether it is genuine. Okay? Yeah. After all, a word is known by the company, it keeps.
Yeah.
So if the word keeps a company that is a Rolex, it's not a watch, but it's food, so be it. But let it be genuine. I think that's our message. You agree?
Yeah, that's true. Let it be genuine and let people be interested in finding out. We can't just be going around and eating because there's a festival. I think at the end of the day, our life, God gave us the brain to think and to make the right decisions. So if you become intentional about finding out what you're going to put in your body, then so be it. So why
you are responsible
if
for
anything
your safety
exactly.
and well-being.
If you don't take care of your body, no one will take care of it.
We need to take a break. We're back with the second segment. This is the League of the Genuine Conversations with me, your host, Fred Mwema. We are here every Friday to educate you, to inform you, to be in conversation with a special guest like we have here. Hope your name gives us hope here.
Yeah, it's supposed to.
On the platform that the young people who are the most affected by counterfeits, because we have you here, we have hope that we can save them, we can educate them, we can inform them.
It's never too late.
Because I don't think that we can develop the full potential of our youth while they are feasting on counterfeits. You think we can?
We still have a long way to go.
We have a long way. You work with teenagers since 2014. You said you work with boys and girls. On your agenda, the things that you talk to the youth about, do you ever talk about the subject of counterfeits or fakes in any way? Do you attend to them? Do you meet with this monster while you're on your road trip to the youth, to the teenagers?
I could have, but not intentionally. I think that's quite a challenge, because I think what you're talking about is that we need to live with this and be intentional about it. While maybe many times, maybe if you have events and you want to buy water to serve, to give the community members and the children, you find I am specifically looking for Renzori. Not because there's no any other water, but because I think within me, I have a feeling it is more genuine. While I look out for that, I have not discussed it with the people that I work with and say, by the way, the reason why I'm looking for Renzori and not Aquasipi is because I feel it is
you are safer.
You are safer, more safer with Renzori. So I think it's a discussion that we need to be intentional about, even sharing. If you have some information about what is right, that you share it with those that are around you, so they also get to be intentional.
Hope, have you had any engagement with any brand to help you identify or differentiate the genuine from the fake? Do you feel brands have come out more to us as consumers and helped us while we go in the marketplace to identify their genuine products? Are they, as that product helped you?
I'm going to talk about a product which is more common in the line of the work that I do with
Okay.
teenagers, and that's sanitary pads. Part of the work we do is supporting girls with sanitary pads so they can menstruate with dignity and be able to attend school every day, just like the boys do. And one thing that I have seen is that there are so many different types of sanitary pads. They're all used to help girls manage their periods. They're in the supermarkets, they're in the shops in the villages, they're everywhere. Then we have also come up now with reusables. Before we didn't have many of reusable products for sanitary, but lately they have become a little more. And the reason is to support as many girls as possible to be able to.
So they are reusable sanitary pads?
Yes, they wash them, use them, dry them, just like the same way they use their knickers. So if you're in your period,
reusable but not to be shared.
Not to be shared, yeah, reusable for yourself. And I think one thing I've seen that while we have so many other companies producing these products that have been actually cleared by UNBS, we also have those who have actually said, let's just go and train these girls. So you just get a cloth, you go to the school, you using your needles, come, it is a session for pads, let's train, you know. And sometimes the question is, why do other companies or the ones in the supermarkets and shops, while they have to go to be cleared, you know, the quality, will it affect the skin? Is it okay for the girl to use in their private area? So people who now come to train like direct, you know, you've bought your clothes, you've bought the needle, and you've bought the machines, and you're making. I think the challenge
but are you saying that from your experience, people are coming with any and all types of clothes to teach kids how to sew sanitary pads?
Yes.
I thought sanitary pads are made from a special material.
Yes, they are made from a special material.
It's not just a cloth.
It is not. But you see, we've interacted with children who can't even access that called any clothes. Like they don't even have access to that. So sometimes people will be like, if I can help them to even get the clothes, any clothes they can, and they can use it, I have made some additional value, which definitely is true, because if you don't come, then maybe the girls, I was in Nebi and I met girls who are using grass. So if you're using grass, dry grass, to manage your periods, and now you have a cloth, maybe you feel you're in a better position.
But the dry grass, if you are talking about dry grass, if you look at the women of 1900 in this world, they had no sanitary pads. And but they were not using, maybe they were using grass, or I don't know, whatever it was, but in its natural form.
Yes.
Now, we have on this program seen cases of fake sanitary pads, where, for example, some pads are made and they put pesticide residues, they put some funny materials, and a young girl or a young woman or a woman is having to use this with an imposed contaminant in it. So when you compare the grass, the natural grass, with a pad which has pesticide residues or paint material getting into your system and maybe affecting your reproductive health, you know, standing, I don't know where fibroids come from, all these infections and so on. You might find the grass is safer than this so-called modern thing that has pesticide residues in it or has a dangerous corrosive material that might affect the reproductive health of this girl.
It's quite challenging.
so my issue is, are we better off in the name of modernization going for anything manufactured that will come up as a pad, or should you rather use the traditional methods of managing your periods than actually going for modern things which are more dangerous and will cause you disease?
No, there are many modern things which are not dangerous.
which are good?
I think the issue here would be, can we be intentional when we are buying these products to know what is safe, what is not safe. Many times the girls who have got effects is you get the burning when you've already used the pad. So you find you're going to leave that product, now go to another different type. And it becomes difficult because there are so many. There are so many on the market. You go in a supermarket and there are like about
20 brands.
20 brands, and you'd want to maybe be sure which one is actually much better than the other. There are brands that maybe we have even not tried, and maybe they are good, and maybe you're stuck with the one that you know.
So how do you navigate? How are you telling your teenagers? How do you navigate with the sanitary pads? How are you avoiding the counterfeits? What do you do? Give us some tips. Give the viewers tips. How do they avoid these fake pads, which you say we have good ones and bad ones?
What I always want to tell the young people is to read. I think information is power. And sometimes these sanitary pads, okay, even I want you to also know that while we're talking about branding and reading what's on the packaging and everything, something which is well packaged can be given very nice names, but when actually the pesticides are inside, you believe that, right? That someone can brand well and put good words and
mislead.
And mislead, yeah, they put that the percentage is this and everything, when it is actually not true.
Or sometimes they get a well-known brand, okay, well-known on the market.
A good one.
Very good one. We know some very good ones. And then they get the packaging, and inside they put fake, pretending it's this common, well-known brand that you know, the genuine one.
Which is true.
How do you, again I'm going back to the brands, in the area of sanitary pads, have the manufacturers of the genuine product come to help you and the teenage girls to identify the genuine brand, the good one, from the sea of other brands which we are not sure of?
So because of the nature of the young girls that we work with in the different districts, for the sanitary pads that we give out to them, we know we are in contact with the producers, because most of these are donated. And again, when you're doing charity work and reaching out to the underprivileged, you find that you cannot afford to do everything by yourself. You must look out for people to support. But those that have come up to support some of the companies, I'll give an example of AfriPads. We have visited their factory. We have seen where their
AfriPads?
Yes.
Their factory make a pad called what?
It's called AfriPads. That's the name.
Okay, so they have come and done some outreach.
Yes,
training of the girls.
They have trained the. No, they don't train the girls. They have a factory where they make the pads from. They pack
Where
the
is
pads.
the factory?
The factory is in Masaka.
Okay.
So they pack them and they make donations for the organizations that are supporting the girls, but also they have some that they put in the supermarkets. And because I have visited their company and seen what they do, they even take you through the layers inside and what each layer is supposed to do, what holds blood, what stops blood from passing through to the knicker. You've seen all the process. I think I appreciate it more because I speak about it with confidence, because they have taken me through the entire process. And therefore, when I'm speaking about it with the girls...
But also, we need to give credit to AfriPad.
Yes.
Because this is the thing we always look out for. What are the brands doing to reach out to the consumer?
Yes.
Just, you can imagine when you appreciate the process of manufacture.
Yes, when you speak about it with confidence.
You speak, but also it will be easy for you to identify, because you are familiar with what you have seen. So do you think, generally, in the fight against counterfeits, we should encourage brands to do more of what AfriPad is doing? Bring the consumer closer. Let them know how you manufacture.
How you're doing it.
Do you think that's a good thing?
It is a good thing, because for me, that has helped me, has given me confidence. One, I have used their product as a result to know. Because I told them I will not take this product to the girls and speak for it when I don't know how it works. That is one. So because it did not burn me, I had the confidence to talk about it. But also the fact that they've taken me through the process of how it is done, which steps, what are the materials, how many layers are inside, how is the packaging, how many packs are in each pack, what should be done with the girls, how do you explain to the girls. That alone has given me confidence that I can actually speak about it with the public without any reservations. So maybe even other companies should find it important to come up and talk about these things. There's one company that donated sanitary pads to us, I won't mention. And when I was appreciating them and saying, oh, we are going to support these girls with these pads, someone came in an inbox and said, oh, that pad, it itches, it's like onion. It smells like it smells like onion, and also it is so itchy when someone uses it. Now that was someone that has used it before. Immediately,
so
I sent this message to the owners who gave them to me. They said, I think someone has used your pad, and this is a feedback they have sent me. I haven't given out the pads, and now they had to come and explain, because they also knew. They said, you know, the reason why we put in the bit of onion is to address issues of infection and everything. I said, now come and explain this yourself. Because for me, I cannot speak for it. I can't talk about an onion.
The onion is supposed to kill some virus or bacteria.
Yes, so, and they were able to come and explain this because I had gotten feedback. When I get feedback, I don't keep it to myself. I want the world to know.
So we say here that the reason why counterfeits are increasing on the market is because of failure to differentiate. We don't know these details. That's why we have Dankani. The first D is differentiation.
Yes.
You are saying we were right to start with the issue of differentiation. Could it perhaps be the most important issue in driving counterfeits?
Yeah, people think that if it's a pad, it's a pad. And the pad is put on a knicker and put on and go to work. People don't know that actually it's not just a pad. There are so many things that come in to make a right pad for you. So it's important for you to differentiate and know that, yes, in this one, there is this and this and this. Maybe this will work for me, but maybe this won't work. I can try the other one. So if the manufacturers would come closer to the consumer and explain how these things are done, why should I leave what I've been using to go to your brand? Take an initiative.
There must be.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is raising teenagers, Uganda. You are advocating for more participation, more engagement of the brand. But as we close this segment, you have mentioned donations of pads to your teenagers. But I think one of the issues with the usage of pads has been price. And that's why there are donations. Is it even sustainable to keep donating? Can't we make the pads affordable? To what extent is affordability, which is one of the factors there that drives counterfeits, to what extent is affordability, in your view and experience, increasing the uptake of fake sanitary pads? How is price pushing the girls to consume fake sanitary pads?
It's quite on an extreme. Because actually, like after COVID, we've seen prices like multiply. A pack of sanitary pads, which used to be at 3,000, now you get at 6,000. So for a parent who has been trying to manage and provide everything for their child, and now things are ×2, if they found something which is now cheaper, they know they've always bought this pack, but now it's at 6,000. So if they found something which is at 4,000, they will not even ask if it is genuine or not, as long as it is cheaper than the other one. So I think it's important to know that as long as we are talking about menstruation and girls and education, it would be good definitely if there was a lot of, quite a regulation for these products, because the rich can afford. The poor will miss school. But how do we put a line and say all girls can actually easily afford without having to struggle? So it would be good to regulate our prices, even if they removed the taxes that are on the sanitary pads, so that the prices are affordable and therefore they can easily access the right product without dealing with the increasing prices that comes over and over again.
We're back with the third and last segment of the League of the Genuine Conversations, the only conversation on the planet that is dedicated to a full-time discussion about the important but often ignored subject of counterfeits. Joining us here to demystify and better understand the subject of counterfeits is Hope Nankunda. She is the CEO or Executive Director of Raising Teenagers Uganda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have International Women's Day this week. And the theme is Embrace Equity. In other words, let us balance the boat. But these days,
Yes.
there is talk of the boat not balancing. The boat is on this side, so much for the girl child, it's about to tip and turn over. Huh? How is this theme for International Women's Day going to help the boat to balance back in terms of the girl child and boy child?
Embracing equity.
First of all, does raising teenagers deal with girls or boys?
It deals with teenagers, both girls and boys.
Both girls and boys.
Yes.
Because the way you talked passionate about sanitary pads, I
Yeah.
just knew the boys are left out in the cold. So you deal with both.
I deal with both, but more of the girls because of the challenges they face by nature. Yeah. And when I say more with the girls, I hope I said that.
Yes.
Yeah, because I always say that one boy can get 30 girls pregnant and they will all get out of school and that one boy will stay in class. So when you focus on the girls, you're able to get them to understand their position and encourage them to actually stay alert, because boys don't get pregnant. That one.
But
we
they
know.
also have other problems.
Yeah, they do. But that one stands out more because it's one, that's why every school, when the school begins, they assemble and announce, check girls.
To check girls, are they pregnant?
Yes, are they pregnant? Then you find 30 girls lining up, going back home. The parent has paid fees, everything has been cleared, but you don't question. So we focus more on the girls because of that kind of nature, to remind them that while they are all children, they need to understand that biologically, if they mess up their lives, there is where they'll have to pay a price that boys can get away with.
But boys having gotten away with a lot of things now attention being given to the girls.
Yeah.
We are having weaker and weaker boys now. And maybe that's why we are having failed homes, because the boys are not taking up their position. They are intimidated by the now strong girls. And therefore we have an issue in our parenting. I was talking to an educationist here, Mr. Same Mulindwa, and he was a lady. It's good that you have come a gentleman. It's good you've come on the ladies' side. And he was trying to bring a notion of maybe there is also counterfeiting in the parenting. The way parents are failing to, one in their duty, but also failing to balance. So how are we going to use this International Women's Day, whose theme is to embrace equity, to balance? For me, that's my interest. How do we balance? Because I think that if we don't balance this boat, the proliferation of counterfeits will seep within that imbalance and come and hit us as a family unit.
The key word here is balancing. I want to focus on the balancing, and maybe to also make it clear that right now we all have seen that actually we have seen more girls come up and many boys fall off, and it is not fair, it is not right. And we are saying if we are going to embrace equity, we cannot say equity is for only girls and women. it is for both genders. And maybe what we are looking at, and maybe originally even to bring out clearly the fact that how did we even get here? Because between me and you, you know that before, or in our days, or those many days back, there was a lot of preference for the boy child in all the families.
It was like an unwritten rule, but it was there.
It was there. If it's time for going to school, my son has to first go. Then for you, the
girl
girls,
stays behind to
stay
help
behind,
cooking.
help. If I get money, you'll go. If I don't get, you'll stay. After all, even later, you'll get married. So educated or not educated, you'll still get married. And they used to think that that is what qualifies a girl or a woman. And we are saying there is so much more that a girl or a woman can do apart from marriage.
When they are educated.
When they are educated. So, but when we came to say we support the girls, I think there's a lot of force and a lot of energy and a lot of commitment, and we have seen it now leading to imbalance. I must say, I have seen even for myself that in the schools we go to, you find in a candidate class, you have 70 girls, you have 10 boys. Boys have dropped out of school. And many times I want to get into conversations with them. I meet some of them on their small borders. Very young boy of 14. You say, what are you doing?
He's riding a border.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Why aren't you at school? Say that everyone is talking about the girls. So no one cares about the boys. So why should we even bother to go to school? So it's a challenge.
So those 70 girls you see in a class, who will be their husbands?
Oh, you have your questions well set up.
Who will be their husbands? Yes, strong, powerful 70
we
girls.
We are embracing equity. And we are saying we are getting back on the drawing board to get the boys and the men in the struggle. I wouldn't want to say it's actually getting them back. I think it is where they were left back, not intentionally, but because naturally they are already up, naturally by nature. But now I think when the programs came and they were going to help this young disadvantaged gender, they came with a lot of energy and bypassed the normal rule. And we are saying, how do we balance the both? We are ready to work with the boys and the men. I must say we have seen that the damage is done.
The damage is done.
It is done.
And we are saying...
It is felt. It is seen.
It is seen.
Yes.
And we are saying, in a counterfeit perspective, because counterfeits have attacked the family unit.
Yeah, that's true.
And when they have attacked the family unit, they have found that the office of the head of that family is not there.
Yeah.
The men are not there. The women are there with the children. So when this counterfeiter comes, it is easier to attack and penetrate.
Attack the family and penetrate.
You think that to fight counterfeits in the family setting, we need both the man and woman to take their respective positions.
Exactly.
And we confront this enemy.
I agree.
Don't give too much power to
there's no family
to
that
the man or to the woman.
You must embrace that every family must have a head. That is true. That is for a fact.
Does it matter what the gender of the head is?
It matters, yes. Culturally, for me, I know that a man is the head of the family. That one I know. I don't question that.
No, but if a woman has money and she's educated, she
even
can be head.
No, it's
there are
not
many
about
women
money.
heading.
Yeah,
Aren't you being realistic? There are many women heading homes.
There are many. We even have single parents. They are heading their families. They don't have husbands in there. They are heading there. I'm not saying that, but for me, as far as I can understand, or maybe the way I was raised, I know that the head of the family is a man. And it's important that we do not water that out. We water it out and say because empowerment has come, therefore that doesn't stand anymore. I think it's important that we embrace the fact that both men and women can work, can provide for the family, but there must be someone who is a leader. If the two are leaders, they are bound to collide.
Going to clash.
Yeah. So that fact needs to be very well put up. You know, we don't put the women down because they are women. We appreciate them because they can do something.
They are our mothers.
They are our mothers. They have given birth to children. They have raised children. So we need to appreciate them the way they are in their position, but also know that every family needs a leader. That is for a fact. So back to achieving equity, I think, yes, I love the theme, and I think we are on track. We are on track, and I always encourage people who are working with young people, don't leave the boys behind. It's important that we get these boys to appreciate the fact that they are also children. We believe in them. We need to give them confidence that this entire
that they're
thing,
also important.
They're important, and they need their self-esteem built, because many of them feel like, oh, after all, I don't matter. And this has come up because of the way we have fronted a lot of empowerment for girls.
Women and ostracized.
I want to make it clear that children are children. Children, both boys and girls, need support from their parents, from their caregivers, and from people that are designed to take care of their well-being. It should not only be for girls, it should be for children. Both children. Boys and girls.
I heard you talking of the balancing, and I guess using the lens of an anti-counterfeit approach. When you're fighting counterfeits, you are balancing. You are allowing genuine. You are allowing. But in families, we have some issues of domestic violence. Do you think this domestic violence is coming because we are not balancing? Is it because of imbalance, or it's just badly behaved men or badly behaved women?
I think it's imbalance, not badly behaved. There are some places, there are homes, like if you saw what happened during the lockdown, for example, a lot of videos would come out, and
violence.
It was not even about being rich or having a lot of money or anything, but there was a man who was beating the grandmother. So I don't want to say that it's because the grandmother is not empowered or the man is more empowered. It sometimes also has to do with discipline and upbringing. We don't want to say that because women have been empowered, it is the reason why we are seeing a lot of domestic violence. I don't think that is true. But I don't want also to say that it is not contributing.
But some people will say some men are indisciplined. They are negligent, they are careless,
they don't take care of
family. So if you tell that man to be a leader, he will lead you into hell. You see what I'm saying? At least for you, your husband tells you, in my home, I don't buy tomatoes in Kampala because of pesticide. When we treat the animal, we don't milk it. The milk has to be poured. So your man is a true leader.
Yeah.
But there are some men who will not lead in any front. So do we need a movement to re-educate and restore these men, as you said, maybe their esteem?
The self-esteem has been affected. And because we still have men who are really outstanding and on track, it would be good to have men like those take on responsibility of actually getting fellow men how do I say, in order? Like
put them back to line, on track.
Because I know you also have your places where you meet as men and you want to talk about these things and everything. What do you talk about, for example? So it is important that actually when the self-esteem of a person is actually already stepped on, they may not do much, but it can be brought up again. It's never the end. It's never too late. So I think if you got men that are willing to actually get online and have fellow men into discussions and talks and share,
it can help.
It can help a lot. Just the same way it would help if we also got women and said, look here, yes, we have this and this and this and this and this, but there is where we stop.
Hope, don't you think that lack of self-esteem is causing a lot of Africans to settle for counterfeits? Is it also something to do with our self-esteem? We don't think that we are good enough, those genuine are not for us, they're expensive for us, we can do with anything. Self-esteem and counterfeits. You see a relationship?
I think there is a big relationship, because sometimes when your self-esteem is low, you have less to lose. After all, who cares?
You have a low valuation of yourself.
Yeah, you don't
think you have high value.
yeah, and you think, what will I gain? Who will even notice? So you feel like it doesn't matter anymore. And therefore, reinstilling self-esteem within humanity could help save so many people, save many lives, because now they'll be intentional, and they'll say, oh, okay. So I'll give you an example, and I remembered it right now. And my husband keeps telling me, said, there's this place in Kampala where you go every lunchtime and you find men only eating lunch there, and it is boiled food. And he keeps challenging me and says, do you know why? Because I told you he's into health and organic. And he keeps saying, some men feel like, okay, if I can't get it here, I will go and find it.
So that is a vote of no confidence. You are saying that place where men go to eat boiled food, are you saying that probably they are not getting it at home?
Not that they're not getting it at home, but it is lunchtime where they don't go home for lunch. Maybe at home everyone has gone to work, but maybe they feel like now this is the chance to get the right.
But who cooks at that place? Is it a woman or a man?
I need to find out.
It must be a woman. So I don't think men will gravitate towards another man.
No.
Of course, we have issues these days. But usually, men will gravitate towards a woman. So you must find in that place, it is actually a woman,
but cooking
who is cooking
the right way.
And the male troop will go there to eat.
Yeah, and while the troop goes there to eat and everything, maybe if at that time some people get intention and say, lunchtime, there is a whole lot of those very important men here, and maybe we can have this discussion. Of course, they don't know each other, or maybe they do, but I think we need to have conversations, because I'm bringing this because it talks about self-esteem and making decisions and giving way to counterfeits. I think it's important that when men have a chance to meet and share and discuss, we also look at how we can put things right where they have gone wrong, especially maybe in our homes, you know. Sometimes when things don't go right in our homes, men are good at applying the silent treatment. Let me ignore, let me keep quiet. But sometimes it's important to talk and share, and maybe that way, as you talk about those things, the self-esteem could a little bit balance up.
So if we increase our self-esteem, we shall also start looking out for more genuine.
Yeah.
Once we have
You'll be intentional. I will not use this because of this and this and this reason. I will not shop in this market because I know
we shall be principled. But they say a poor man or a poor person has no principles.
That is not true.
Is poverty a reason to say anything will go?
No, it is not. I don't believe that. Even poor people have choices. They have choices. They can make right decisions. And sometimes I have a problem with that word poverty. So if I talk,
it's poverty of the mind, of the pocket.
The mind, because the one for the pocket, I don't understand.
It's temporary. It's not a permanent condition.
It is not something that is permanent. And you know, there are places where you go and they say so and so married off their daughter because they were poor, and I'm like, so are they rich now? Because now the reason was, you know, poverty. Now the girl was married off. So are you rich?
Poverty is not a permanent condition.
It is not.
And it's not a reason to consume fakes.
Hey, people want to use an excuse. I buy this because I don't have enough money. No. You can choose to say the little I have, I will look for the right thing until I get it.
If you ask them, don't you have enough money?
Because life is about choices.
Don't you have enough money to want to stay alive? Is there an amount of money that you must have to stay alive? No. Any money will do.
Any money will do.
You have to stay alive.
It's about making choices.
We are going to close. We want you to give hope to the institution of marriage.
Oh God, yes.
It is, I think, under the biggest form of attack. And for us, we are thinking that the consumption, the heavy consumption of counterfeits in the home, and you women do a lot of the shopping for the homes, you are worsening the situation of the marriage institution.
Yes.
The institution is struggling, and then you also go and shop fake tomatoes, fake lotion, fake shoes for the
Fake
kids.
quencher.
So fake quencher, fake sugar, fake soap.
You
You are
know,
just
one
finding.
time my husband said, one day go in Capital Shoppers and stand somewhere and look at the trolleys that are with women and the trolleys that are with men. You come back and give me a report.
What was your report? The women trolleys are full. You are busy shopping. You are bringing fakes at home and making the men quarrel, and a lot of fights are coming out of fakes. Because the husband will give you money to buy shoes for your son or your daughter. After 2 weeks, it's
It is
broken.
spoiled because you had to save
Domestic
some
violence
money.
begins.
You had to get some money, like a balance.
Counterfeits and the challenges in the marriage
Marriage.
institution. Are we having more breakups and more issues because probably of this enemy called counterfeits?
Family is the smallest unit in a country, and it's a unit that embraces everyone, the children, the mother, the father, and once it's under attack, we are bound to lose a lot. And so therefore, for me, my message to the family and people who are raising families is that we need to embrace communication. Communication and being open-minded. Because sometimes, like you say, you find that because I have the money, I can buy what I want, so I can get away with buying counterfeits and bring them home because I can afford. But maybe if we chose to sit as a family and agree and say, this is wrong. I'm telling you the many things that my husband has said, this is wrong. And sometimes you take time to really follow and you see actually he was right. And sometimes you're like, if I had not listened. So sometimes when you sit as a family and share and are willing to learn, I think there's a lot we can save, even as you groom our own children. Because sometimes these children learn by copycatting. What they see parents do, they think is the right thing. I know that my children, there are many things they have seen, and they will still see that within us as parents. And sometimes, I didn't tell you this, we have issues with spices. And one of my girls will say, hey man, if you buy spices, daddy will throw them away. Because there's
a lot of fake curry powders. And
yes, you'll find them. You won't even tell you. Just pick them slowly, go dustbin, and you'll go to work. So, but all that is done to actually show us that, look here, there are many good things you can get if you chose to take your time. And with time, I have got to now understand. So it's a matter of getting on a table and discussing and agreeing as a family and raising these children in a way that would want them to grow and be better persons in the future.
Your message to the audience? How do we avoid counterfeits?
Let us be intentional and make decisions not out of spite, but because we actually care about our health. If we care more about our health, then it means we can take time to pick what is right for us and be that intentional so that you're able to keep your life safe from counterfeits.
That has been Hope Nunda, the Executive Director of Raising Teenagers Uganda. She says boys and girls.
Yeah.
She's trying
teenagers.
to raise decent boys and girls. We've been in conversation with her. We hope you have learned a thing or two about this menace of counterfeits, and in particular how to deal with it. She's spoken elaborately, eloquently about the issue of sanitary pads and what she is doing to ensure that the young girls keep safe. If you are new here, this is the only show on the planet that talks about the important but often ignored subject of counterfeits. We appreciate you making a date with us every Friday. If you like what we are doing, you can subscribe, you can share, you can put that notification to always remind you about the next interesting program about counterfeits. Until then, don't be fake, buy and sell genuine always.